Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn of Root for America. Did we just elect our first Jewish president? I think so. Just as Bill Clinton wasn't black, but he was called America's first black president, I believe Donald Trump should be called America's first Jewish president. I should know. I'm an Ivy League educated Jewish kid from New York, but I'm the Republican conservative variety. Trust me, Donald Trump is as close as you can come to being our first Jewish president. The very unique traits that have made him a billionaire and now president of the greatest nation in world history are as Jewish as you can get. Let me prove Donald's our first Jewish president. Donald's a lifelong New York businessman who made his fortune in real estate. You can't get much more Jewish than that. I should know. I'm from New York. Well, actually, you can. His winter home, Mar-a-Lago, is in Florida, specifically the east coast of South Florida. You can't get much more Jewish than that. When he bought his Florida home and turned it into a popular and exclusive country club, he specifically opened the membership up to Jews. Mar-a-Lago was the first club that ever allowed Jews in Palm Beach. Donald changed the customs of the most wealthy, waspy town in America to favor Jews. Thank you, Donald Trump. Donald is family-oriented and clearly loves and dotes on all his children. He's bursting with pride in his children's success. That could be the most Jewish trait of all. To Jews, family and children are everything. Donald's your typical Jewish parent. Donald's children are all Ivy League graduates, just like my daughter, who recently graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University. We're both proud dads. Donald's daughter, Ivanka, is converted to Orthodox Judaism. That makes Donald the first president in the history of America with Orthodox Jewish grandkids. Donald is handing his business over to his children. That's the goal of every Jewish businessman I've ever met. Donald is the most hardworking businessman I've ever seen. That's a trait handed down to me by my Yiddish grandfather. I believe it's the main reason for the success of the Jewish people. I've been a workaholic, just like Donald, my entire life. Donald has never worked for others. He owns all of his own businesses. My Jewish butcher father, David Root, taught me two things mattered above all else in life: being a good father and always owning your own business. Donald has more chutzpah than anyone I've ever met in my life. Chutzpah is a unique word that comes from the Yiddish language. It means you are so ambitious, you aim so high, you have so much audacity, people think you're nuts. Donald aims higher than anyone who's ever lived, and now he's president of the United States of America. Donald is the most relentless person I've ever seen. Relentless is a very uniquely Jewish trait. Jews are relentless fighters. We've survived thousands of years of hate, discrimination, persecution, robbery, slavery, and murder. We haven't just survived, we thrived. I wrote the book, The Power of Relentless. Of course, it was endorsed by Mr. Relentless himself, Donald Trump. Thanks, Donald. Donald's a big success in Hollywood as a TV producer. He joins an exclusive club that is predominantly Jewish. I should know. I've created, executive produced, and hosted hit TV shows my entire adult life. Donald is a bigger-than-life personality. He has dynamic communication skills. He's very charismatic, opinionated, ambitious, aggressive, combative, committed, and passionate about his ideas. He says whatever's on his mind, even if it offends. All of those are traits I've seen in my Jewish friends, relatives, and business partners my entire life. Many of Donald's political views and policies are tailor-made for Jews. He could be the most pro-Israel president in history. Donald will always stand with the Jews of Israel. How strong are Donald's bonds to Israel? He was the Grand Marshal of the annual Salute to Israel parade. Can't get much more Jewish than that. The Jewish National Fund awarded Donald the Tree of Life Award for his lifetime of support for the Jewish people and the state of Israel. Can't get much more Jewish than that. Jewish Week found that Donald has given generously for many years to Jewish charities. A professor of American Jewish history calls Trump's charitable giving to Jewish causes impressive and clearly out of the ordinary for a non-Jew. His stance on extreme vetting and stopping the mass importation of Muslim refugees should be welcomed and enthusiastically embraced by every American Jew. Donald's goal is the same as mine: keeping people out of our country who could commit acts of terrorism and who have an unnatural hatred and prejudice towards Jews. One of Donald's first priorities as president is to renegotiate the Iran deal, perhaps the worst treaty ever negotiated in U.S. history and a danger to Israel's future survival. Donald is the strongest anti-terrorism president possible. He understands our enemy is radical Islam. He uses the words Islamic extremist in the same sentence. That alone makes Donald the best friend Jews ever had. Amazingly, who was the very first world leader to talk to Donald after his victory? Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Coincidence? Speaking of best friends, many of Donald's friends, business partners, executives of the Trump Organization, country club members at Mar-a-Lago, and trusted lawyers and advisors are Jewish. No U.S. president has ever in history been surrounded by so many Jewish friends and advisors. Trust me, by almost every possible measurement, we've just elected our first Jewish president. And that's a great thing. I'm Wayne Allyn Root for Root for America. God bless America, and God bless President-elect Donald J. Trump.